I am once again asking for you to sit with me while I go through my books. And I am also, once again, getting ready to move house because it's the summer and I apparently can't help myself. I think moving house is always a good time to weed through your book collection because they're heavy and cumbersome and I don't want to carry that, and I don't want to ask movers to do it either because as someone whose literal job it was to cart 25 boxes of books back and forth in a central London bookshop every day, I have sympathy. To be honest, even when I pay movers and it's their whole job and they arrive ready to go and they're like, okay, so what can we move for you? I'm like, honestly, it's fine, just that one there marked pillows and then I'll do the rest, don't worry. Actually, you sit down, put your feet up. Can I make you any food? Would you like a drink? What is that? Is that Britishness? Am I just being polite? Am I a pushover? Don't answer. Now, the problem with this particular clear out, as those of you who've been around for a while will know, I've done this many times. And because we've done it many times, I'm sort of just left with two categories. Category one, books that I love and will never get rid of. I'm looking at you, Bridget Jones's Diary. And books that have survived, like cockroaches in a nuclear fallout, and come with me to 3 different houses and are still in the to be read pile. I just have a real problem letting things go, so we're gonna need some bravery here today. But before we get our game face on and dive into these, I have to let you know that this video is brought to you by Blinkist. Oh. Blinkist is an app that gives you the key takeaways from the best non-fiction in short, sharp bursts. I'll tell you all about them in a bit, plus how to get a discount on their premium plan. Don't say I'm not good to you. One of the reasons I buy so many books is that I'm curious. I'd walk through the bookshop before it was open and I'd see all the books on the tables and be like, there's a story in there. And all I have to do is open it. This book is a thriller about people who get stuck isolated in a hotel while the world ends around them. It was the last book I bought before lockdown. I wonder why I didn't open it. We'll add that to category 3, too real. Keeping. I've tried you twice and couldn't get into you either time, but everyone says you're so good. Keeping. Now, I picked this one up because our building set up a little sort of communal library bookshare situation, and then it disappeared halfway through. Some people don't like fun. I've already read it, so this is one that I read, gave away, and then took back for some reason. So I also picked up these two from a charity shop before I went for 2 reasons. Number 1, because I'm planning a series about film adaptation, and number 2, my original copies I lost in a divorce, and my ex-girlfriend texted me and was like, do you want your copies of The Hunger Games? And I was like, no. But I did. Now, this one is fun. This is heavy and dense, but get this. The Affair of the Poisons, as it became known, was an extraordinary episode that took place in France during the reign of Louis XIV, when poisoning and black magic became widespread and arrests followed. Suspects included those among the highest ranks of society. I'm into that. That's like Game of Thrones, but look how camp he is. If you own a copy of Tom Hanks's book and you give it away, you are a bad person. No take-backs. You can stay. You can stay. You can go. You I bought in a fit of pique after watching National Treasure, and I don't think I'm ever gonna get round to you, so you can go. Did you see that? I managed it. That's growth. You just watched growth happen. I've read this 5 times, and she can stay. This pile, all academic books about filmmaking and the process of writing screenplays that I promised myself I would read and study from, and have never opened. Actually, that's not fair. I used these 2 to write my dissertation. They're very interesting. I have such ideas of myself as an academic, and then I play Pokemon for 30 hours. You can stay, you can stay, you can stay, you can stay. This is going well. Okay, so far the pile to keep is here, and the pile to give away is these 2. So, shall we get the rest? And while I go get the rest of my books, let me tell you about our sponsor. The world is changing, our routines are changing, we're changing, and there's never been a better time to learn something new, but figuring out where to start can be a little bit overwhelming. Enter Blinkist! Blinkist is unique and powerful. It works on your phone, your tablet, or your web browser. Blinkist gives you the best key takeaways, the need-to-know information from over 3,000 non-fiction bestsellers in over 27 categories. Blinkist condenses them down into blinks, which you can read or listen to in just 15 minutes. And now Blinkist offers its members even more, including exclusive original content from top authors and creative thinkers. You still get access to the entire Blinkist library with your membership, and now you can also dive deeper into full-length non-fiction audiobooks at a special discounted price. Over 14 million people use Blinkist to deepen their knowledge in topics spanning self-improvement, personal growth, management, leadership and mindfulness, happiness, and more. Personally, I've added Blinkist to my wind-down routine. I feel like I spend so long in front of screens these days that I like to set time aside to do physical chores. So I'll do things like the washing up, folding clothes, my skincare, and in that time, I'll pick a blink and have a think. I just came up with that. Here's my library at the moment. The good part about it is that I get to decide whether to add the book to my to-be-read pile or even get the full-length audiobook for when I go on my daily exercise walk. And because everything's so interesting and I'm indecisive, I pick them all. It's this, but digital. Right now, Blinkist has a special offer just for you. Go to blinkist.com/Leighton to start your free 7-day trial and get 25% off a Blinkist premium membership. and up to 65% off audiobooks, which are yours to keep forever. That's Blinkist, spelled blinkist.com/Leighton, to get 25% off a premium plan and a 7-day free trial. Blinkist.com/Leighton. You can stay, you can stay, you can go. You're not going anywhere. Now this is one of the best books I've ever read. I've talked about it before. It is a tender and elegiac love story that spans the course of decades. Would you rather love the more and suffer the more, or love the less and suffer the less? That is, I think, finally, the only real question. The front cover is meant to look tear-stained, but I read it by a pool, so it's wet anyway, which I think adds character. This is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I think every bookseller is required to have one of these as standard. This is a first edition copy of the Da Vinci Code that I bought in Paris, one of my favourite cities in the world, and unironically one of my favourite books. Hard keep. That brings me on to these. Now I have to keep my political biographies because I like the way they look. I think they give me an authoritative air, especially since every news contributor is doing it from home in the time of the Rona. Not that I've been approached by any news source to be a political pundit, but you know, I was a scout. Always be prepared. That's what they tell you. They drill it into you. That and how to build a tent. But I've forgotten how to do that. Problem is, they're so heavy. Bill Clinton's is massive, so massive that the pages are thin, like in the Bible, which... Have we got a little complex, Billiam? George W.'s, in contrast, is considerably shorter and, interestingly, written in crayon. That's going to be turned into a Ryan Murphy series. I can't let that go. And then... I think we've made some real headway here, guys. By which I mean, we've made no headway at all. But thank you for being with me. And thank you for not judging me for wanting to keep books because they make me look clever. It's a couple of weeks before the move... Excuse you. I'll take that as a hint. It's a couple of weeks before the move. Maybe I'll have another go and we'll make some progress. Thinking about it, all of my political biographies sit on the bottom shelf, so BBC News wouldn't see them anyway.